Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of PMP Cinema Antiquities. Sorry we're a little late. We're doing some shenanigans behind the scene. I'm going to blame all those guys, even though it was definitely my fault, but, we're not going to talk about that. Today, we're here to talk about Ahsoka Episode 5, and man, was this this was a crazy episode. One thing, though, before we deep dive into it, I did want to say, because I've seen some kind of controversy on Instagram about this and about talking about the shows and stuff like that while the strike's going on. I'm not going to go into a big tangent about it, but I did want to kind of come out and really say that I stand behind the strike and I stand behind the people that are fighting for like basically better pay and treatment. I'm an artist myself, who I'm on the other side. I'm on video games, but I just want to say that I stand with everybody, but at the same time, I also stand for my right to talk with you guys. I mean, like I said, this is the highlight of my week, being able to nerd out and talk with you guys. I mean, I look forward to it every day, so I'm not going to cut that off. But
well, when they drop a banger like this, it's hard not to talk about it.
right. I'm sure people are. But go ahead, Josh. Did you have something?
Yeah, I mean, with this thing, like, what I don't really understand, because I mean, the main part of the strike that hurts the companies, I mean, are the actors, the writers, the crew. Like, all we can do, honestly, by even talking about it, like just applying pressure by being the demand, because I mean, this show was made before this, or was finished before all of this. So by the numbers being high, and like, I mean, the pay is also kind of regulated by how well the series performs. So honestly, by doing that, it's honestly the best support you can give, because after that, they're going to be in a predicament. So
for sure,
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Like, just enjoying. That's honestly the best we can do right now.
Yeah, man.
For sure. So going into the episode, I know we're gonna really talk about the Clone Wars and all that stuff, but before we kind of deep dive into that, what did you guys overall think about the episode? I'm curious to hear your thoughts, just on your overall thoughts.
Very cinematic, from music to the shot choices. I definitely understand why they wanted to put that in theaters. I'm so mad I wasn't able to make it up to Disney to watch it.
It was legendary. A few friends of mine did actually get to go to the theaters, and they did say it was astounding. The surround sound, everything like that, the screen, stuff like that. Dupree Jones, my good buddies, said he went and he texted like a little thing. It's like, "Did you see it?" I was like, "Yeah, I seen like a little thing." He got that. He was like, "I'm crying right now. I am too." I love that. JT, anybody else?
No words.
Yeah,
no words.
No words, and at the same time, so many words. It's crazy, right? that this is going down. It's I think this is definitely an episode that will go down in like the history of Star Wars. We're gonna be talking.
Oh,
about
it has to.
Yeah, it's like most of us are Clone Wars kids, right? Like, we grew up with the Clone Wars. Some of us saw the Attack of the Clones in theaters. Some of us are a little too young for that. Some of us saw the movies. A lot of people don't know that Clone Wars was a movie before the TV show even came out. Like, that was
before that. It was just 3-minute shorts.
Yeah,
TV Cartoon Network, and we had to wait so long just to get 3 minutes. Everyone's like talking about this runtime, like, "Oh, I can't believe Ahsoka is freaking 30 minutes with 10 minutes of credits."
Right,
you get what you get.
The theater was so dope. Oh, you went to the theater? That's cool. Lucky, man. Lucky. That's epic.
Nice.
I would say how I would describe the episode for me real quick would be, we were on the verge of greatness. We were this close.
Yeah. With we'll talk about some of the issues with some of the armor presets a little later. But what did you I don't necessarily know how to word this. I'm just going to kind of stumble my way through it. Seeing this episode and really seeing the Ahsoka show like as a whole really kind of made me question, like, dude, I mean, there's definitely parts of Kenobi I like, and I don't want to turn this into like a Kenobi hate, but like, what happened with Kenobi, dude? Because I feel like watching this show and then looking back at what we got with Kenobi, like, they're not even in the same like universe. Like, dude, like it's like 9 days. And I'm not saying that if you guys like Kenobi and you love it, like I'm not hating on you or anything like that. I'm not trying to crap on Kenobi because there are really great parts. It's just so crazy how like we definitely could have gotten something like this in Kenobi, and I think it would have hit way harder than a lot of the stuff they gave. Like I don't know what happened with it.
I think a lot of the rewrites and stuff too. You know, there was a lot of rewrites to Kenobi. There was a lot of reshoots and stuff. So I don't know if it was like continuity issues or what, but there was, you know, I think with Ahsoka, especially with Dave at the helm, you know, you got somebody who has a vision all the way through. You don't have a bunch of input. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think Kenobi had way too many hands involved.
Yeah, it's such a tight area in the timeline. I think that they just wanted to kind of fill a void, but with Ahsoka, there's nothing there yet, so they can do whatever they want. So it's gonna feel fresh and new. Whereas with Kenobi, they had these constraints and they couldn't really go outside of that as much, I guess.
Well, do whatever they want to an extent, because we do know that this does have to butt up to the sequels.
Eventually, but there's quite a bit of time.
But sure. I mean, it's different strokes for different folks, because and I say like towards the end of Kenobi, you had the scene. My favorite shot was when Kenobi cut Vader's mask, and then you get that very emotional moment.
For sure.
That was amazing. Like if the entire show came out and that's the only thing I got, that would have been good.
Yeah.
For me, that was the killing blow right there. I mean, even going into Ahsoka, before the show was even announced, I was telling some of these guys around here, I'm like, look, Ahsoka, are you freaking kidding me? They're even considering this. You know they're going to involve Anakin in some way, because she's a crucial point for that character. So I'm already hyping it up as it is. But that Clone Wars flashback, the episode prior, I was thinking, dude, this is everything I needed. Anakin giving closure to Ahsoka. He just did a little cameo at the end of the show, and I'm like, the whole show could be garbage. This is all I needed, because the episode was already banger, and then they throw that icing on the cake at the end. Little did I know the next episode was everything I could have dreamed for. I kid you not when I say this. I felt like a kid again, because I watched the Clone Wars when it came out. I was 7 years old when Ahsoka was introduced. Sorry to date some of the guys in here, but that is a crucial thing. And that, like I said, that took me right back. There are a few things in Star Wars that have hitter moments, like watching Revenge of the Sith for the first time. Some of these specific things that happen. And for me, that was so much nostalgia, I couldn't handle it. I cried for like 20 minutes during that watch party. I'll say it, and you can go watch it. I was in tears. I was shattered. That was very personal and very cool.
Yeah. I'll double back on that. I mean, 2008 Clone Wars, that was my college time. So 2005 Revenge of the Sith, I just graduated from high school. So this single episode was like Dave Filoni, spoilers, and Hayden Christensen literally just time traveled, took their hands and just put on my heart and just like, here you go.
Finish him. Oh, sorry. I thought that's the route you were going.
Yeah, no, wrong movie. But no, it was. I kind of knew. Again, I can say it now. I kind of knew some stuff like this would happen, because during my birthday in June, when I went to Denver, Hayden kind of let some of this out, but he was like, "You cannot tell anybody," and everything like this. So I knew he was going to be in it to a certain degree, but not the point of onion ninjas attacking my face, leaking out, which admittedly there was a few shots, because I am a sucker for lightsaber fighting choreography. I know how to, for certain shots, I know how you're supposed to get it. That's why in other projects I'm like, meh. But this show's been great so far. But to have Hayden Christensen grace that amazing presence and give the prequel fights a little time to shine, and that little homage to Nick Gillard, that was great. So leading into everything else we got was just legendary. I don't know how anything else to explain. Professor?
This episode, for what I said last week on the podcast, it just put a smile on my face.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
I was smiling all the way through. Great episode.
Smiling, crying, dude. It was the roller coaster of emotions. At least for me, I was all over the place, man.
You want to know what puts the meta to this? When I was with Strike and a few others in Celebration, and I was graced by the random occurrence that this would even be possible, having Rosario and Hayden actually sign me, and I was able to show them and make it into a tattoo. Realizing this, Ahsoka was already filmed and completed by the time we were in London. So when I was getting that done, I had no idea that Hayden was going to be in the freaking show.
I know he's going to be
Clone Wars armor. That's the reason I got that. In that
he was drawing that on you. He's like, little do you know. Little do you know.
Like, oh,
that makes it.
I actually know exactly how that looks.
That makes the story all the much more cooler to that.
For sure.
Like I said, this is a very personal thing for me, and I've been wanting this since I was a kid. So to finally get it, it's like a different level of surreal.
Well, I think, like I said, it's safe to say we're all kind of Clone Wars, fans, and a lot of us grew up with it, being the Clone Wars kids.
This guy is dressed up as Ahsoka, and he's got a clone helmet.
Like, look at me, I am the captain. Look at me.
We're all Clone Wars fans.
So it's I every roundtable we've ever been on, we were like, oh, are we gonna when we were doing Kenobi, we're like, oh, are we gonna get Clone Wars Anakin? Are we gonna get like Clone Wars Ahsoka flashback? And it unfortunately didn't happen, but it did in this, and this man, it packed the punch. But that's what going back to Sean's point, he said, they were supposed to be a film and they cut it up, and that was the pacing issue. Yeah. But even let's just take like pacing aside, like
never filmed though, like that never started filming.
I think they wrote the script for it though. I think the script was written, but it was never.
Yeah.
But and like I said, this will kind of be the last little thing, and then I want to move on from Kenobi because I'm not trying to make this a why is Kenobi not like this, video. But like you guys know how this episode felt. Like I'm listening to all you guys talk about it right now. Like besides that last episode, or maybe I don't know if it was the last episode, whichever one that Vader and Kenobi fought in. I don't know if that's the last one or the second to last one. Besides that episode, did any other episodes even come close to how this made you feel?
No, I can't say that it did.
And that's what I'm saying. And not that not every episode has to be like that. I'm just saying I
will say the last episode of Kenobi did hit hard.
But that's what I'm saying. Minus that one, like I just and it's I'm not hating. I'm not really not trying to, because just the fact that we got a Kenobi show is super super cool. But it's just I guess my point I'm trying to make is give Dave everything. Make less Star Wars, give Dave more. Let him, or at least write everything. He didn't have to direct everything, but at least have him write.
Yeah, the stories.
Kind of like, I don't know if shoehorn's the right word, but like, kind of make his mark,
Funnel and filter.
Even if he doesn't write everything either, he could still like just look over the material to make sure that it is going in
continuity.
I see. You say that, but the quality dip, and like I said, we're kind of going off on a tangent here, but like the quality dip between Bad Batch season 1 and season 2, for me personally, is noticeable. And I think the reason why dip is because Dave was supervising it, but he was working on Ahsoka and doing other things. And the level, like, that's why I'm saying give us less Star Wars and just make him, like I said, like we can still have our Bryce Dallas Howard's directing and stuff like that. Like she's amazing. I'm blanking on the other directors' names, but there's plenty of other amazing directors that have directed Star Wars. The guy that directed the last episode, I'm blanking on his name, did an amazing job. That episode was awesome, But let's get into Ahsoka, because I feel like I'm going off on a tangent. How did you guys feel about Hera hearing like the saber clashing in the waves? Because I've seen some kind of controversy. And Dragon, we'll get to you first, but I've seen some controversy over it. And it didn't really bother me like the first time, but the second time I watched it, I was like, that's kind of like a little strange because her son's force sensitive and she's not, but she can hear the clashing and like the war between world, as I say, War of the Worlds, the War Between Worlds, different movie entirely. It's supposed to be a very spiritual kind of like, so I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Like, it's not a make or break it thing for me. I just thought it was kind of interesting that they allowed her to kind of hear it. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts on it.
I agree with you that it does kind of take you out of it, that it makes him hearing it less powerful because now she's hearing it too.
Yeah.
But then I try to put it in the sense of maybe that location is so powerful that if you kind of open your mind and free yourself a little bit, you can pick it up. So I wouldn't say that she's force sensitive, but I there's something about that location. I mean, definitely that.
What is the conduit?
Yeah, and the fact that it juices up the star map and all that other stuff. But I mean, I will say that when I first watched it, it did bug me that like, well, man, that kind of took away from him. But then I was trying to just think about maybe it's the location itself just has enough power there that it. If you
but it's a Night Sister area, so I don't even necessarily know if it's a Jedi or Sith blessed area where it's more centered in that specific mountain.
Yeah.
I see it as more like the lines of the Force flows through everything, and the wills work in a mysterious way. If he can hear it, if she can just take a breath to give a second to hear it, that. They chose her at that moment to hear it. That's probably it is what it is.
Stanley brings up a good point too.
Yeah, I think it also. I mean, why? Because like when I watched the scene, I didn't really have a problem with it because Hera kind of has like a connection to the Force
for sure.
With of course with Kanan and then also with Jason. So I always saw that as like she has some Force connection there, but it's like it's obviously it's not as strong. But I mean, as we know now, with Sabine, kind of everybody is kind of Force sensitive.
Right.
This is all about unlocking that.
Hera knows the Force exists. She married a guy practically, right? And
she saw it firsthand.
Probably a civilian, in the general, non-Force sensitive civilian, or non-talented, I should say. Got to be careful what I say because everyone's Force sensitive. I think when they acknowledge and accept the Force, the tables kind of get turned in their favor, like they are one with it. I mean, think of Chirrut, Think of Han Solo. That's a hokey religion, and then all of a sudden he's dodging asteroids and he's being extra lucky in combat.
That was L3, right? L3 was programmed in a ship. She had his back.
Well, I think that the Stanleys brings up a good point with the Leku too. I didn't even think about that. How they have more sensory abilities, and kind of like what TC was saying too. Like she kind of, I guess she kind of does have some stream of Force sensitivity or something, because I would argue that Han Solo does, and that's why he flies half as good as he does, is because he can kind of see things and feel things almost before they kind of like Anakin in the pod racing, And I feel like the way I want to say it was either in Bad Batch. I want to say it was in Bad Batch season 2, with when she's talking about flying and the connection she feels to being up in the sky, and it pans the bird when she's spying on I think it's a minefield or something, they're a drilling station or something. I think that was in Bad Batch, I want to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that makes more sense now that I'm kind of thinking about it.
There are species in Star Wars that have
it was just
more
mom
of
intuition.
There are species in Star Wars that have more of a Force affinity just because they are that species. I mean, think of the Sith. The actual Sith species, they have red face and the Fu Manchu weird alien jowls, and they were naturally just they got a good spawn point. They just were born into the Force well, So I mean that could that could roll with, I don't know, the Leku theory, but I think it's more realistic for it to be that she was in that area. She was blessed at the time to be like, oh, okay, if I just sit back and wait, maybe I can actually listen to him, because she could have said anything else, like went on with Hu Yang, but she's like, wait, no, just give me a second, and she did that, and it gets into that gray area too, because we don't necessarily know a lot about the world between worlds, whether it's this like ancient thing that happened in a past time, because it's spiritual and physical, so it gets really weird. And it's like a dream sequence too, in Ahsoka's head.
Well, that's what I want to, kind of going into talking about, Anakin and Ahsoka is, do you guys think that, I mean, there's no like right or wrong answer because they're obviously like they didn't answer. We don't know. Do you think that she went into the world between worlds, or it was more of a dream sequence?
Well, I guess that question is what the world between worlds really is, because to this day, I think we don't have a very clear idea, because the only times when we have seen it was in Rebels, and on different occasions, both having to do with either the Jedi Temple on Lothal itself, or with the Mosaic, which was a portal. But I guess where this is probably sort of going, because I think we can sort of take out that there was a portal in the water. I find that very unlikely.
Right.
But I mean, just the wording of world between worlds really kind of hints at the fact that it is like the roam between life and death. So it is that roam in between. And honestly, even with Anakin's lesson and the way he talks with when she's like, she remembers Balin, and he's like, oh, that's good. And she's like, why? So you still have a chance to live.
Yeah.
So really seems, or to me, came across as just a visualized picture of her will to live. Like, does she have the will to live? Does she have the will to keep going? And probably some sort of version of Anakin's Force spirit sort of guiding her through her. Like,
it was a test of the will, 100%.
Underwater. Yeah. So that's at least how I would probably see this.
Well, it kind of reminds me too of where people say right before you die, your life flashes before your eyes and stuff. And if you look about it, she's looking at all past, decisions she would need to make to go forward. So, I mean,
but think of actually if pre-suit Sith Anakin Vader took her out in this dream sequence, would she drown in the ocean that she's just floating in? You got to think of does that will actually grant a physical reality? I tend to relate it back to Revenge of the Sith, when Anakin had his dream about Padme. I mean, there was their way of showing that, because I mean it was 2005 and this wasn't really fleshed out. It was just a black background with a rainbow gradient just zooming in on whatever he's seeing. But I imagine if they, had this kind of flesh out at that time, it would show Anakin probably standing in that room, not knowing what to do, or whatever mind you. So like Strike said, this is probably that physical picture, because portals too are a very cartoon thing. And I'm glad they didn't show an actual ring that she jumped through.
Yeah. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna talk about the so we get the lesson. I got some images pulled up from when I was doing my breakdown, and I'm gonna share. What do you guys because I think the cool thing about the really cool thing I like about Anakin in this whole shebang is that we kind of get a different version, I feel of Anakin. He's I feel he's almost enlightened, where
he's definitely matured.
He's chosen, he's immortal now.
Yeah, he balances kind of the light and the dark, and I like that he gives this lesson. I watched it the first time and I thought this, and I watched it the second time and I was it kind of confirmed it. I feel he gives this lesson kind of like how Yoda would give a lesson in the Force, and how we've seen him kind of where it's not straightforward. He's kind of guiding her through all these scenarios, and he's oh, you still don't get it, but he's not really saying hey, like, you know, and how in video games it's like, go here and press the circle button, you know, and then you'll be, you know, you'll unlock the treasure, you know. He's just, I thought that was really interesting, but I'm curious to hear what you guys think was the lesson for her to learn throughout all this, because I think there's multiple answers and multiple options. So
I think it all boils down to her letting go, mainly
letting go of the past. 100%.
Yeah,
It is closure. It's without a doubt
letting
closure.
go of you know, her failure, because you know, she ultimately she sees Anakin as, you know, that's her biggest failure, is, you know, not being there for him and like leaving him and abandoning him to the point, you know, where he became Darth Vader, where he killed innocents. And yeah, it's just mainly, you know, when he asked her, like, do you want to live, like continue to live by letting go, or do you want to die by still continuing to hold on to all that pain and regret in your heart, which is why you're not really progressing forward in life.
And this really shows it is whatever the interpretation is of Anakin is whatever Ahsoka believes in her mind, because she immediately gets transported back to the Clone Wars. She's like, this is the Clone Wars. It's like, yeah, you think? Like that's what she remembers it, you know, it looking like. Even though if she's in, you know, the body of her past child self, this is still what she remembers. And even when, like, Siege of Mandalore, Anakin's like, I don't remember this battle. Yeah, this was the Siege of Mandalore. This was my battle. You did good. Oh, okay. There's closure right there. He's trying to lead her, like you said, Max, like lead her down that path without giving the answer. Because as soon as he says, you're part of my legacy, you're part of everything I have, the power and everything. And she's like, but you freaking became Vader. You are the power. You were the chosen one. I'm jealous of you. And Anakin's like, you've learned nothing. Back to the beginning. Let's go. Back to the beginning. You have to figure it out for yourself.
I think really the closest thing to, well, this is basically like a Force ghost appearing for you, just in this sense, because she's like literally on the brink of dying. It is this sort of version. Otherwise, I truly believe this would just simply be like a Force ghost of Anakin.
Yeah, the thing I take from it is, you know, I think she really was about to bite the bullet, but she has the Morai thing from Mortis way back in the day when they did that whole trip. That gives her a chance to an extra life. But at the same time, I really do love to believe that this is the closest thing Anakin had to a little sister, or like any type of sibling at all. I mean, yes, you know, Obi-Wan, everything like that. But I love going back to the past podcast, you know, the whole Rocky Mickey scenario and everything, and just for all these years, just dittoing off this, she has held on to so much to the point where it's hindering her fighting abilities, hindering her journey, everything she's going on. Whether she be standing doing this, you know, or just, you know, stoic, you know, not just like, man, okay. To in Mandalorian season 2, you know, it's too much. You know what this little thing has in it and everything. I'm not going to train it. I'm not going to lead down that path, to the point where she almost gets killed. Anakin, the immortal, like chosen one's like, nope, no, that's my student down there. I'm taking this. Just
this one.
Pulls her out of the thing and literally puts her in that, like, we need to talk, and has that moment of just like, look, you know, you can live or you can die, which is a very funny contrast, because the last time they met, then you will die.
Yeah.
It's about life and living and get that fight back. And just, that's my 2 cents anyway. Just,
was anybody else waiting for Palpatine's laugh? You know, maybe that he was controlling her for a little bit.
Dude, that would have been crazy. Honestly, if it was going to be anybody, I would have preferred it to be the Sun, though. Like, if it was going to be like any dark side entity, I think the Sun would have been a really cool one.
Gosh, but, all the casuals would have checked out immediately.
Probably. Probably, but
I think, dude, even seeing like my parents, if they saw Anakin on screen in their Revenge of the Sith uniform, they're already confused. So they're just gonna immediately jump to, okay, this is a dream sequence, this is happening or not, which is how perfect they actually like showed that, because it doesn't stray too far off of what the casual fan can put together. There are plenty of people in Clone Wars maybe haven't got into it as much, but they still know what happens, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I can't believe we're even talking about this right now. Choke up. We're talking about the Clone Wars in live action.
Oh yeah. Well, I like to Sean's point here. I like that he, Anakin. We're jumping a little ahead, but we're probably going to be jumping all over this thing because there's just so much to talk about.
I think one of the quotes that probably hit me the deepest
is JT lagging?
Yeah,
a little bit.
Hear me, brother.
JT.
Skynet.
The word communication can only mean one thing.
Invasion.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the internet went down, but no. To go back, Anakin. When they're at the Siege of Mandalore, and she's kind of giving him, the stank face, and it's like, well, like nobody realized how powerful you were, and it cost us, And I really like that he's like, I'm more than just Vader. I'm more than just Anakin. Like, I'm more than just like the name. And he's like, so are you, because and it was cool that he was like, oh, he's like, my master passed down stuff from me. His master passed down stuff, without kind of mentioning Qui-Gon and all that stuff. And I like that. I agree that, that she kind of needs to, I kind of echoing also what you guys are saying, that she needs to let go of her past and kind of move forward and be this more hopeful and optimistic and pick up the fight, again, like she because like, I don't know about you guys, but she kind of felt like she was almost like a ghost. Like, when she got pulled back from the world between worlds, she was very like, I don't know, like she's always, crossing her arms and not smiling, like not the Ahsoka that we know, So I think, he was really trying to push that. Oh, we got JT back in the.
Good.
Back in the fold.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know what happened. I started talking, all of you went silent, and I was like, did I say something? I was so confused. But I just remember what it was. I was gonna say one of the things or quotes that really hit for me, that kind of made me wonder if things would have been different, or had things would have been different, as if Anakin's sitting there with his arms crossed, and he's like, "You're a great warrior now. You're everything I've trained you to be. You have all my abilities and everything." And Charlie was like, "Yeah, this is probably as close to anything as a sister he's ever gotten." For me, like Obi-Wan being a brother, Qui-Gon being that father figure, but Ahsoka being more like a kid or like his kid in my eyes, like, because he's been a slave. He's never had a kid. He's forced into this life, so he doesn't know how to react. So he's just dumping all this warrior knowledge on her. So that's where his pride comes from. But it really makes you wonder, that quote, "You're everything I trained you to become. You're a great warrior." That's kind of reserved for like Luke. It had things been different, if he didn't go dark side, imagine him saying that to his actual kid, like Luke Skywalker.
Dude, full-powered Anakin with a full-powered Luke Skywalker, like just being trained from birth. Could you imagine? That would be insane.
It would be crazy, but what you have to remember is the Force always balances itself. So if you have two light-sided gods like that, you're gonna have something just come out of nowhere.
So what you're telling me is it's gonna be equally as epic when they fight. That's what I'm hearing.
I don't think movie like Hollywood can handle an epic fight like that.
But
speaking of fighting, can we just take a second just to talk about the lightsaber court? Like just the lightsaber.
You literally beat me to it. That was the next thing.
Dude, his first move where he leans into it and then just oh god.
Yeah. We get his Obi Annie. Dude,
well, when he was leaning in, he was looking her in the eyes constantly. He was like, can I get an easy strike in? That's how he was in the Clone Wars. He's very
I love the homage right here. It took me a second run to catch this. But whenever she's like, "I will not fight," not gonna fight you. He's like,
Oh, dude,
I've heard that before, and then I clocked it, and I was like, oh my god, he's talking about Luke in Return of the Jedi. I will not fight you.
Does that ring a bell?
Yeah,
Ding, ding.
yeah. So it just blew my mind because one, we're all watching it, was like, oh my god, this actually happened, and rewatch. I was like, he's talking about Luke. So this actually is Coach Anakin just talking about this stuff and just like leading to this. So little details in fights go a long way.
And also, I will say, like, also because of the short clip that we saw sort of in the episode before that, I thought the aging. I think now, looking back at it, I think it was because of lighting, but I thought it wasn't quite on point. But in this, like that,
dude, he looks great.
Crazy.
Like, there's this
I
one
think it
shot-
was just overexposed. I think that's what the problem was.
because like in the entire episode this time, it just looked fantastic. Like there's especially this point where it blew my mind when when Ahsoka kicks him of like her first combo, and he like looks up and smiles. That was such like Hayden in Revenge of the Sith type smile.
It's
like I was like, okay,
oh man, that's so much good
they
stuff.
nailed it.
Yeah. Oh, and I did want to, you know, I know we were talking about this fight. Why do you guys think that Anakin is dressed in his Revenge of the Sith instead of his Return of the Jedi? Because in Return of the Jedi, we see him with more of an Obi-Wan style.
I can tell you that because this is in Ahsoka's mind. That's the last time she remembers. That's the last thing she remembers him wearing.
Yeah. That's what I said in my breakdown. I was just curious to see if you guys had any.
Yeah,
because like
to even go deeper into that, not only that the last thing he's wearing, but when they go into the Clone Wars, she remembers him wearing his Clone Wars armor. But when they're on the Siege of Mandalore, he's just randomly in his Revenge of the Sith uniform because she didn't remember him wearing anything in that battle.
Yeah. So then that kind of leads into more, is it projected from her head than, you know, not an actual Force ghost then?
Yeah, I don't think
she's creating it.
I think there's like a certain extent to it. I do think that there's some sort of like actual spirit of Anakin involved, but yes, I think Anakin is sort of building off of like, because I mean, as I said, like the world between worlds roam in terms of it being spiritually, physically, and anything in between is like very vague and like could be anything. So I think it might also just be that Anakin is basically using Ahsoka's memories and sort of her inner feelings and conflicts to teach her this lesson. So I think it's like a combination.
Well, when Force ghosts are not, like, just take World Between Worlds out of the conversation. When Force ghosts are not in that dimension, they're not shy of holding back really any information. Obi-Wan in the the OT did that to Luke because he was protecting Luke from continuing. But now that he's accepted this path, he's able to tell him more information. He sits down with him on a log. He's like, "Listen, bud, he was your friend. He's your dad. Now he's a bad guy. Sorry to tell you. There's another one.
Yeah, as your sister. Stop.
Yeah, but he didn't. But he didn't blatantly tell. He didn't blatantly tell Luke. He knew that Luke was going to solve that. He didn't even have to tell him. He already knew that Luke knew that. Whereas this World Between Worlds area, Anakin being in this role is kind of 100% making her figure it out for herself. He's giving no hints. It's just back to the beginning. You lack conviction, you know, fighting with yourself.
Well, one thing, you got to love kids, because even I don't have none, but kids, when you ask them a question, they are very honest.
Truly wonderful, the mind of a child is.
Blatantly honest.
Remember the kid? He said he could hear lightsabers. That's very important, because the mama couldn't hear it. She had to concentrate to even remotely hear just a little bit of lightsabers. So it got to be some type of plane somewhere in the middle, like what y'all was talking about, between life and death at the same time.
Heck yeah.
And another thing about being on the lightsabers, I think one of the most important things when Anakin was talking about life and death, and he's walking away with his lightsaber on the side, and he's flickering from Anakin back to back to
Oh.
Vader. I think
Such a
that
great
was
shot.
very important.
Yeah.
That was a lesson. That was just a lesson right there for Ahsoka itself.
It goes back to what TC was saying earlier about letting go of
Mhm.
this. It was coping. It was 100% coping. It's letting go of the regret and failure of not being there for Anakin. So when Vader gets thrown into the mix, she's finally fighting what he became. That's that last step before she can just break free. And what he says, he does it again. He's doing his little playful training fight. But after the Clone Wars, he's like, I already told you, live or die. Red. It's done. This is the last step. If she can beat him, she lives.
And that's like, and that's another thing, because once again, going back to the lightsaber choreography, because like one of the biggest things that's always gripes me about the sequel trilogy is like their treatment of like the lightsaber duel, because not only is like their choreography not the best, and but like it also lacks like the emotional drive of like the fight scene, because like for example the last fight, I think the last lightsaber fight scene was Rey versus Kylo Ren on the Death Star 2 Remnants. And I don't know, just throughout that scene I didn't feel like an emotional connection to the two characters, but with this scene, I felt that strong connection. And
because the foundation was weak. Because when you look at that fight and she flips through the waterfall, first of all, why'd she do that? If you're trying to kill somebody, why would you separate so far away?
Give a little razzle dazzle, Shake it up.
Think of the foundation. What are they actually fighting for? Kylo's fighting her because she won't join him? What? It's just crazy.
It makes no sense. Just
That's a deep rabbit hole.
It's a little bit Tom Cruise.
You're gonna hurt your brain trying to figure that
out.
You gotta walk away.
Walk out of the movie theater and never look back.
Just let it go.
Never look back.
We gotta stay on topic. Stay on topic.
I know you mentioned the sequels, and my computer just started to lag again. I don't know what's going on.
I just hear everybody in the chat just going. But can we just take a second? And I know because we're all Clone Wars homies here, dude. We got live action Phase 1 clones for the first time in forever. Like
this actress did amazing. Oh my god.
Yeah, I was about to say I was gonna congratulate Nick. I loved your performance as young Ahsoka.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad someone notices.
Oh my god.
I think you killed it.
Identical, the twins.
Yeah, honestly,
can't even tell the difference. Like,
yeah, no, but the actress did a fantastic job. First of all, I think the likeness is great. And actually, at first I didn't even notice, but afterwards, when somebody, I don't remember who said it, but that she's also like small Gamora.
Yep.
Yep.
And she's the little girl on the Barbie movie.
Yeah, she's in the Barbie. This actress, this young actress, is in bangers. Like, only bangers alone.
She's gonna play young Natiri next. We'll just watch.
Man, it's. I remember when this happened. Because at first, like, are we going to a red? Oh, Mustafar, okay. And then like, oh wait, no, did something happen that's out of? She's small. Oh, and then everything just. It was priceless. Just one. Her just like, yeah, literally right before this, like, looks like you have nothing, else to teach me. I haven't taught you everything. Yoink!
Oh, and dude. You're talking about this scene when he breaks the little.
I love that shot.
Before we go, Sean here said, and I think this is important, because it's no secret here that pretty much the majority of us here, I think I can speak for it. We're not the biggest sequel fans, right? Like we like the prequels and the original. That's kind of our jam. But I think it is important. He says we're gonna have to agree to disagree. As Star Wars fans, I think that's like the most important thing. Is like whatever you like, that's awesome. And whatever I like, that's awesome. You know,
Everybody's
we can
Star
have
Wars is
some
different.
we can have some playful banter and go back and forth and kind of rib each other because that's what friends do. But at the end of the day, we're just nerds trying to nerd out. And that's what I love about this community and stuff like that. It's like, I feel like we're very accepting, you know, and I just wanted to say that because, you know, that he brought that up, agree to disagree. And I really love that, you know, even though it's not our bag of chips, you know, so to speak, we can all kind of powwow and get along together.
It's okay, Max. It's all right. It's all right. No one's gonna bag you for being completely wrong. It's all right.
But honestly, I will also say, I mean, what we're saying is like really harmless. I think all of the you know, as sort of like prequel Clone Wars kids had to deal with much worse. That was being said
was,
with the prequel.
yeah,
So
it was gross.
Yeah, just a little bit.
We're not, you know,
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey man, appreciate you popping by. Yeah, dude, young Ahsoka, she freaking nailed it. Appreciate you coming and hanging out. But yeah, man, I that's what I like. That's what I like. You know, we can all we all joke around, but we all get along too. So it's good. It's not going to change too. Like you're saying,
there is no opinion. There is no opinion that should ruin a friendship over a movie.
For sure.
That's
I mean, we all know
silly.
Rogue
That's
One was the
childish.
best anyway. So I mean, everything else is second. So
Yeah, and I still tolerate Dragon, so it's all right. I'm a New Yorker and I love it. All right.
He slowly raises his lightsaber hilt under the table.
But Clone Wars Anakin. We didn't talk about Clone.
We're getting there. We're still we're deep. We're all over the place. I knew this stream was going to be chaotic because we're all going to be going all over the place. I did want to pop back over, and I don't know. Did we get the lieutenants in Attack of the Clones?
No, this is your territory.
I was talking bullshit when I said there are sergeants. They're all blue, so it's the 501st. Like it's the Phase 1 501st.
Okay, so they're not and it's sergeant, not. I always get the colors mixed up. It's not lieutenant. It's
so
sergeant.
Blue one would be lieutenant, but I actually checked since those guys only have the thin colored. That's like already like Clone Wars 501st because the lieutenants have like the full stripe. So
in the regular
think of the 03 Clone Wars when they go to Dantooine. They're like, new droid general, he's unstoppable. The boys roll up. There's Ordo in the front and like a bunch of blue and then some regs, right? So these guys are definitely more. They're on the more elite side.
So this
no. Well, I was like, can somebody go ahead and say Captain Rex? I mean, like, was that not?
Yes.
You guys are jumping ahead. I know we're excited.
Sorry, Max, run the podcast.
just give me a second. We're getting there. We're getting there.
This is like that meme of like people discussing Star Wars versus Lord of the Rings, and it's like them sitting around like the elephant like table versus the Geonosis droid attack.
No, but it was cool that we did get you know, even if it's not the sergeants or lieutenants, it's, you know, the 501st. I still think, because I don't believe that we got those in Attack of the Clones. I believe we got green, yellow, and red. I think those are the three that we saw.
Not blue,
and
but they're not prominent.
There is blue in there?
Well, there is sergeant, lieutenant, captain, and commander, and we see all four.
We see all four in Attack of the Clones?
I think, yeah, Attack of the Clones.
Okay,
because I like in the background.
I know we see. I know we see those three, but I couldn't. It's been a minute since I've watched Attack of the Clones. But 501st forever. Yeah, 100%. We're getting there. We're getting there. But let's go to Clone Wars Anakin, and then we'll get to Rex. We'll get to Rex because this dude.
That is so awesome.
Insane.
Roll that beautiful beam footage.
Absolutely crazy.
I've been waiting so patiently long.
Like, and it looks so good. Like they nailed this outfit. Like
I cannot wait
through the hole though.
Yeah, I can't wait for conventions to whenever he comes back, just to have like pictures of this and everything, because you know everybody's got like an Anakin Vader or something like that. Dude. So now we're gonna get stuff like this.
Look at that.
Even the line when he says like "Come on, Snips," I was just like, "Oh my god!"
Oh my god!
Dude, he yells the first thing he says is "Forward!" And I'm like,
"Oh, dude,
so good." So good.
This episode is so freaking cinematic. We're gonna talk about some of the cinematics here in a little bit because I want to know your guys'. So be thinking about that in the back of your head. What's your favorite shot from this show, because we're gonna talk about that here in a minute. But dudes,
Mm.
these freaking shots here. This one, it's a little bit of both. We get a little bit of Anakin and we get a little bit of Rex. So,
But
dude,
you also got, potentially somebody related to Hera too. You know what I mean? Because they're on Ryloth, and it's
Cham.
Ah, you're
dude,
right.
that would have been sick if they would have thrown that in there
Right.
too. Like,
mean-
that'd be sick. I mean, he definitely could be one of those guys in the background. But
yeah.
that's dude. And then we get Clone Wars Rex, which we get Phase 1 Rex. I should say. Let's start with that. We'll get Phase.
Yeah,
1.
I saw Phase 1. It's like they better not just put him in the background like this.
I know. I was like, how are you just gonna leave him? Like, I mean, he looks gorgeous, dude. Like it's
yeah.
awesome. But I'm just like, how are they not going to give us like more than just him talking to some Twi'leks in the background?
They didn't even give us a promo poster. They only gave us the Phase 2 promo.
Yeah. I mean, and not trying to sound too negative, but in a way, I might be glad that they didn't show us the Phase 1 closer, because the Phase 2, yikes.
Well, hey, at least the Phase 1 looks like his elbows are actually the right way, and
that's true. That's
like
very
they
true.
at least nailed that down.
Yeah,
because
the Phase 1 looks great.
When I was watching this for the first time, not only could I not see because I was crying for like 20 minutes, but everything just looked so good that there was no question.
Oh, we're gonna talk about
nothing, not one thing
talk
broke
about
the immersion for me when I was watching this.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the armor mishaps until you guys actually pointed them out.
Honestly,
I didn't notice
Yeah.
minus
it
the
in
elbows.
posters.
I didn't notice it at all.
Well, and then JT, you were talking about like Boba Fett having like the wrong, what was it, like the wrong knees or something like
No,
that?
So
they were
in-
upside down. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
I told Nick
bruh.
about that. Nick, I'm surprised you didn't know.
I had
you're
no
armor guy.
idea about that. That was so
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, they did the BTS, and then he's like, "Yep," and there I am, like a fool, with my upside down knee dart pads, standing in the carbonite like freeze chamber, like a screenshot of him on in Empire.
So funny.
So I mean, costuming is costuming. If they mess up a little thing,
Also, I mean, in Empire Strikes Back, that's the first time you see Boba. So I mean, there wasn't continuity they were breaking. I mean, it was
Right.
like them just forgetting it.
Yeah.
I suppose. I mean, although it doesn't excuse the special edition Boba Fett that has literally like the one shoulder plate on the wrong side. But
Right. Proud of you.
But I really love this episode because Dave just, I mean, obviously he freaking made the Clone Wars with George Lucas. And I really love because, I say this all the time, but the clones pre the Clone Wars, like show and movie and stuff like that, like the clones were just, they were supposed to be a more menacing version of the stormtroopers that were kind of buttholes that looked cool and carried out, killing all the Jedi, and that I always called them buttholes because I love the Jedi and they massacred everybody, but then we get, the Clone Wars show that gives us more of an insight into like, they're actually people who have feelings and they're more than just a number, and inhibitors. Yeah, exactly. That's crazy.
The original theory I didn't buy either because, like, come on, every single one of these clones is in on it. They're voluntarily just deciding at the same time.
Well, that's what they say. That's what they say in the Battlefront 2. When they're marching up to they're like, we all knew what we were getting into, but did any of us have treasonous thoughts? Maybe, but we didn't act on, tomorrow. I have an awesome, or not awesome. I have an awful Tamora Morrison.
I have an awesome.
Who's not a New Zealander can do the accent.
Yeah.
No worries.
But this shot right here, I was like, I felt like it was literally straight out of the Clone Wars show. Like, if this isn't like life and death and being conflicted and like, oh man, it was. I don't know. I felt so. I'm sad that we didn't get to see Tim. I mean, it was smart of them to wrap the faces so they didn't have to pay him to do that. But I still felt the weight of this, just like it would be a Clone Wars episode.
Well, even when she gets up and his hand just drops, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dude, the damage looks so good on that. Blaster dirt mark on his.
Like
arm.
I said, if you guys know the 2005 clones that came out for Hasbro. Like it literally transported me to my childhood because the clones like had like on the arm brace, on the shoulder, there's a shoulder marking, and they literally have those exact same like black scuffs on it. I know that's what battle damage looks like, but it just, I don't know, it took me back to that because I always collected those as a kid, and it just, whew, man, it looks so freaking good. I'm gonna go back to
this whole
The-
thing
Rex
is
The
just
folks at Legacy Effects did such a great job on those.
Yeah.
Flipping awesome.
And then the freaking, I wonder if those guys are CGI'd or not, or if those are actually
Yeah,
real. 'Cause
there's
those look a little
lot of
different.
They
Actually,
look a little skinny, yeah.
Little CGI.
A little bit more
Yeah.
of the 2003 or 2000. Well, when did Clone Wars Attack of the Clones come out? 2004, right? Or 2003?
2002.
2003.
2002. Oh, Jesus.
Something like that.
3, 2, 5, 6. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Three
But
was
it
the
does look a little
Tarkovsky,
more.
our first thing, and I remember them talking about like, oh yeah, we just want to come out with another series that fills in the gaps of that. So yeah, you guys enjoy that.
Dude, that was spot on.
I tried.
I will say, I mean, I watched it back and I actually noticed one of the clones because when they're running, it's actually a mix of real clones and like CG doubles of the real clones.
Oh man.
And there's one clone, and I looked at his feet randomly, and it's cursed. If if you guys want to see it, hold on.
Bro, he said, "Do you think one of these is like Jesse?" Man, in my head, Fives is back there somewhere. Maybe he's the
Oh, not five.
maybe he's one of the blue 501st guys running at the beginning. Like Jesse and Fives
Oh,
are
yeah,
definitely
you-
somewhere.
I just love how Domino Squad started off as regs. They didn't even have
I know,
the
yeah,
first
I know.
paint.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The clone weathering is amazing. Here, I'll
Yeah.
re-show stream.
Man, I gotta
Definitely.
rewatch Clone Wars now.
I know, right?
so the clone I'm talking about is coming from here, and then look at his feet. So
Look
Does
at
he
his
have-
feet.
Does he have Crocs on? What's going on?
and then wait, and you can also kind of tell like he's running weird. Okay, this guy. Look at the feet.
Oh yeah,
Oh, he has no feet. Wait.
Oh my god.
he's got that Clone Wars run too, like when how they were running and he's kind of got.
Oh my god.
We didn't.
He
Hey,
has
we
He
didn't.
just floated through.
Man, we didn't pay for his OnlyFans. We didn't get the feet reveal. Pissed.
Oh my god! Wow. Now I have
There
to
it is.
watch it. Oh,
And I'm
wow.
so sorry because I swear you're not gonna be able to unsee it again. Like I don't,
Thanks for
Thanks a
reading
lot,
that.
Strike. This whole episode's trash now.
Jesus.
I know we're all hyping up
Outta
the
here.
clone, like Phase 1 clones, and then it's just like dun, dun, dun,
He has no
dun.
feet, that freak.
But that just goes back. I mean, I wouldn't have even noticed that unless Strike just told me about that. Everything immediately off the bat just looked so good. Immersion was right there. This is the Clone Wars. You think? And he's like deflecting bullets and stuff.
Yeah, man.
I will
Just
say
even-
This guy would know
does a
too.
good job acting like Matt Lanterns, like Anakin. Like some of the moves, especially when he was, I mean, since it was like dusty and when he was like pushing forward, and like the way he was moving, it reminded me a lot of his moves in the Umbara arc because it's like
Yeah.
similar sort
Yeah.
of like ambience.
Oh,
Like he has done his homework, and you can tell. Like,
Dude,
Oh, for
Hayden
sure.
is the best, dude. He's good.
Hayden's
I don't care what
so good, man.
anybody says. I've
So good.
defended that man since episode 2.
Well, dude, he
And
had 20
I'm
years
so
worth of
glad that-
hate.
I know. I'm just like I'm so
You know,
glad he's finally
training this
getting
guy went through.
because yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I know Charlie knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, just
The amount
that.
of crap that we've had to go through. This man can't act.
Yeah.
He ruined Star Wars. I'm like, oh, dude.
And then-
just like,
but
look
to
at
see
him now.
come
Look
back-
at him
yeah.
now.
Come back and he's running the show. You know what I
I
mean?
know. Everybody's like, Anakin. I'm like, where were you, MFs?
Yeah, where were
when
you
the-
at?
when-
Yeah.
in 2002 when I needed
Listen,
you.
us as OG fans have been drowned in that ocean by the constant comments of, "Oh, you like the prequels? Come on, the CGI."
Oh, dude, that gave,
And
gave me chills when you
we've
said
been
that. I'm
sitting
like, oh.
we've been sitting at the bottom of the ocean like skeletons. All of a sudden Hayden comes back. It's like some sort of like Pirates of the Caribbean. We come
He-
back to the surface to
He
fight
pulled
with
you
our
out of the world
captain
of
once
World
more.
War. Oh man.
Yeah,
God.
really, he was training us. He was bringing us back into the light and to keep fighting and to
True.
keep going,
Yeah.
not Ahsoka.
And it's
I-
and all the saber fighting, it's all him.
Dude,
it's
especially-
yeah.
100% him.
He's goaded.
Dude,
God, like, because George made sure that he was like, hey, hey Nick, make sure you train Hayden a little bit more because we're going up on Revenge of the Sith. Needs to get more aggressive, like more Vader and stuff. So you need to down on that. So literally, like within, as soon as he got done with episode 2, I tried by the way, is like he had no time. He did okay some of the promotional stuff and everything like that back in the day, red carpet stuff and everything. After that, they flew him to New Zealand. He went straight into practicing the Dooku fight, and already starting the Obi-Wan and Anakin Vader fight, like
dude.
straight into it. So
I mean,
he
you can see
had
it.
this muscle memory, like
It's
even
muscle
back
memory,
in
yeah.
Clone Wars,
Oh,
all the way
100%.
2005.
I'm gonna plug Nick Gillard's YouTube channel. I don't have it down in the comment
Yeah,
or the,
I hope
but
I
but, like,
really hope he starts posting again because
you guys can see that. Like, you can literally see him training and doing all the stuff behind the, and it's cool because, like, yeah, you can argue stuff about the prequels and the green screens, but like seeing the fighting choreography, like green screens are perfect for that because that's all you can focus on because everything else is green.
That's true.
Yeah.
So it's so cool. Some of the
Yeah.
stuff I definitely guys, if you haven't, like, it will, if you guys are into saber fighting and like that's your shit, go check that out. It's I think it's Gillards Stunts, I believe is his thing.
Yeah.
I'll leave it down in the description after we get done doing the pod. But
So, I
I think I know
what
what my favorite shot from the Clone Wars flashback.
hold on, we'll get there. We'll get to you. Jumping ahead just a little bit. Brad, did you?
Well, I was gonna say at this point with what we've seen with Hayden coming back, would you guys want to see more Ewan McGregor or more Hayden Christensen?
Both.
We have
I want to see both.
What if you can only have one?
Live action Clone Wars show. Live action
Let's
Clone
go.
Wars show.
I
The answer
will
is
not
yes,
settle on
because-
saying just someone single. I will say both because those men both they trained
that's
so
a-
hard
that's
to
a
do
hard
this
choice.
back in the day
Answer-
for the muscle memory. So please give those guys their
100%.
fair share because
The
my
answer
God.
is yes, because we've
The
been
answer is
waiting
yes, yes.
for so long. This is like we can finally die in peace now. We got it. We
Could you imagine
did
getting
the
a whole
thing.
show though? Like a
Yeah,
whole
quit
show
talking
about
dying.
this instead of just
That-
like whatever.
But
we got
that's
like
like,
10
but
minutes
that's
of
like
it?
what I was saying before, like piecing just this moment out of the entire Ahsoka show. Like the entire show could be garbage. Like this moment specifically meant so personal to me. I don't even care. I don't even care if we get more or less. Of course I want more. Are you kidding me? A whole series, a whole show, movie, whatever, you name it. But this was so much more than enough, and they nailed it with 100% accuracy. The fusing between Hayden and Matt Lanter's like audio, like the mannerisms, the way he was talking to her. Like how do you want me to be? You want me to be more serious or like?
Yeah.
Perfect, dude. It was perfect.
If I stop fighting, then you'll die.
All right, let's get into the talking about our favorite scenes is going to be up next. Let's TC, you started it off, so let's hear what your favorite scene is.
Well, my favorite shot from the Clone Wars flashback has to be the it's just after Anakin like turns around, he has the red lightsaber, and then he does the one strike, and then you just see like their silhouette and like the smoky background of like the blue lightsabers and then the one red. I don't know if you have that picture.
I
but,
don't. I have the. Let me give me 1 second. I have it like right before what he's about to like do that. Oh nope, no, that's not the right. Gotta love. Look. Oh, I'm not presenting it. That's why. So right before he's about to do it, but
That's
the scene
Revenge
that
of
you were
the
talking
Sith,
about.
and he does a backflip and fights Obi-Wan.
I'll do what I must.
Right. Dude, if you had done a backflip, oh my God,
Yeah.
I love it.
So,
That is a definitely great shot.
I'm gonna see if I can
Did you see it?
pull it up because that is a freaking epic shot.
Yeah, because I love this shot as well too because he's using the other hand.
Yeah.
He does
Kinda
the other
see it
way.
here.
Live and
Little
then
bit.
die. So just nice little contrast.
Like that is such a oh it's gonna take me onto a thing. Okay, well
No worries.
see if I can zoom
will-
into it, dude.
I want
That is
that.
that's
I want to post for that so bad. And then
Oh, dude. Okay,
Yeah, so-
before we move, can I just say this one thing that just clicked in my mind?
Mm.
Well, so one of my favorite fights is from the 03 Clone Wars when Anakin
hey, how's it going?
fights Asajj Ventress,
Mm.
you know, and they're fighting up the Yavin Temple. This is the opposite. Anakin has
Oh,
the red,
yeah.
and the dual sabers are blue.
That's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
And then you get they're on the bridge, and you get the side-scrolling view of that fight. Oh.
It's like
And
poetry.
Anakin once again pushes the one with the two sabers.
And at the end of that fight, he was the one that was he falls down.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Dude, it rhymed hard.
Real quick, because this will be an easy one. Thoughts on Resistance? There is none. Next.
Wow.
Okay, no, on a serious note, before we continue, because I want to hear what favorite shot everybody else's.
From Resistance.
Resistance had a cool art team, definitely cooler than Rebels, in my opinion. I loved the art style. It was just seemed like it was catered more towards kids, and
Oh, for sure,
I
yeah.
wasn't like the Young Jedi show that's happening. Like I think it's still going on right now. That's clearly for kids. It's not my bag of chips. I kind of pull Resistance into, and like to be fair, like I'm just point blank not into sequel stuff. So, and it takes place during the sequels, so that's kind of my stick on it. But, but yeah, I want to hear what the rest of you guys have for your favorite shots.
Who wants to go?
Oh, my favorite shot.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah, and sound off.
It's always gonna be the one before he. Let me see how I say it. When he told her live or die, and once again when he walks off with that saber by his side, and he's looking and it's flickering. Anakin,
Boom, 3 times,
dude. That was so powerful for me. That right there was a lesson right there, all by itself.
Yeah,
that was so powerful.
Such a cinematic, because that's not. I'm gonna bandwagon off that because that's my favorite shot in the whole thing too.
It's like right there as he's Anakin, he's alive. When he Vader, he's like, it's like,
man.
He's death.
Notice how he's alone, and when he's Vader, he's alone too. I think that's also pretty because Vader's lost everything. Like Vader has nothing left, and he has all these clones and.
Another thing, Anakin's Clone Wars armor, his like upper torso chest piece kind of resembles Vader's too.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I'm telling you that right there.
This shot, and then also the one once he kicks Ahsoka back into the World of Worlds when he's like coming out of the fog and he flashes into Vader.
That was tough.
That is my favorite shot.
It is for me too.
And they did with like the shoulders, like
I know,
like reload.
Dude, he's coming in so angry too. He's like, oh
yeah, he like shrugs it. Yeah.
Do you guys remember? Have you all guys seen Mission Impossible 6? Like when Henry Cavill does the like.
Reload.
Reloads his arms.
Another great thing about this, really fast, I will say. Again, going about Hayden as well. When he switches to Vader, he switches the style and makes sure that his arms do not go up because of the restrictions of the armor, even like the spirit stuff. So it's little details like that, and to him coming through and doing like that, then of course you get the Vader voice.
Like Charlie, you nailed it right on the head.
Beautiful.
You know what this reminds me of?
You nailed it right on the head because he switches his fighting style too. He goes from the less like Anakin, like left, rights and stuff, to when he activates the first strike he does on Ahsoka is a downward powerhouse cut through any like block kind of strike.
He knows what he's doing when it comes to lightsaber choreography, man. He trained for a while, so him switching like to Anakin and to Vader and back to Anakin again is just I can't say enough about that amazing console.
One of my favorite edits for like a fan edit of the movies and stuff that people have done is just switching Anakin's color of lightsaber to red on the Mustafar duel. And this is the first time we've seen Anakin live action with a red lightsaber pre-suit Vader, Sith eyes.
Yep.
Hold up, I got something special for you guys.
I know what Max is bringing up right now.
I got something.
It's hard not to think of that.
And real quick, because you guys are blowing up the chat, I appreciate you guys talk. We've just been so nerding out; it's hard to get everybody in there. Doing a Clone Wars TV show, I think I would agree with you. It would be pretty expensive. I think they could definitely do a movie. I mean, it is Disney, so I think they could definitely maybe if
maybe another
Bob Iger sells
movie?
one of his yachts, they could make the movie or something like that. I don't know. Maybe take one less retreat a year or something. I don't know.
They stop making damn cruise ships.
I mean, they could make another Clone Wars movie. This one would be good though.
I said hey earlier, but appreciate you popping in there and saying hello. It's cool that you're from Michigan, getting people from all across the galaxy. The cinematics were amazing, dude. I mean, this is probably one of the most cinematic, I think, movie or not. Sorry, a TV show that we've got. Like this, there's so many. Even in the beginning, when it was, I think it's Cetos, when they're panning over it and showing the waves and the trees, like, oh man, it was so cool. That's my favorite scene too. I don't know if he was talking. It was a little while ago. It might have been TC with the sabers, or it might be this one because I know we've only really talked about this, but
So good.
see this one. Less of this is Hayden though. During those transitions, it's more animators and maybe, yeah, I guess. I mean, I think it's probably a little combination of everything.
It's a combination, but you also have to think that Hayden actually was doing these moments. He definitely approached out of the fog with that aggression. I think what they did is they filmed him doing that walk entirely, and then they filmed like a suited version or a digi double doing that walk, and then they spliced it together when they did those flashes to make it, see.
And also,
on top of it.
Look at this man. If we got a live action Clone Wars, I'm okay with suspending disbelief a little bit.
I'll join in on that, and I'll bow as well.
Like, dude, the dude looks great. He's like in his almost 50. I don't think he's 50, but he's almost in his 50s. I think now's the time to do it. Like, if he were to pull off a Clone Wars Anakin and you were going to do a show or a movie, like, now is the time. I'm okay with this.
The fact that we even got Clone Wars live action, we've been wanting this for so long.
I know.
It's so very reasonable to suspend disbelief.
And this shot right here with the ATTEs. Oof.
Dude, when they start moving forward and advancing,
dude, the sound of the sound. They got the sound of the legs.
Oh, and I forgot the LAATs coming down and dropping stuff.
Yes.
Too.
Oh my God, the legs. Oh, dude, that was so awesome.
Everything in dust.
My man. Maddie for life, bro.
God.
We're not even in this episode. We got to bring her up.
Only if you're strong enough, man. Only if you're strong enough.
Remember what happened last time this got brought up?
This episode broke the internet.
Oh,
it did.
100%. It broke me, dude. It literally broke me. I'm still recovering.
We all were in pieces, man, in like a good way. It was, if you grew up with prequels, originals, or Clone Wars, or like all of them, it's seeing stuff like that. So you've heard voices, you've heard them embody the characters and stuff, amazing voice actors and everything, to art designers, everything all in between, to leading up to this moment. And it's just, you have no words though, just like grateful that thank you, Dave Filoni.
Surreal.
Yeah.
Euphoric.
Yeah, we might be simplifying it a little bit for sure. I know it's a lot of we're kind of just putting stuff in boxes. I know there's a lot more complications. I'm imagining you're referring to bringing Hayden back, but I think the important thing here is that I think it's doable and still be possible, like they could still like one. I think they would, if they did a show like that, I think it would make them more money than they could ever dream of, because you could sell toys. You could do think about how much what happens in the Clone Wars. Like if we got a movie or a show about it, think about how much, because the Clone Wars is all over the place. Like there's so many merchandising ideas. There's and that's what there's a large part of the Star Wars community who's like solely Clone Wars. I was watching this thing today. I don't know where it was, but this dude showed Clone Wars to his girlfriend, and because of the scene that happens with Fives, she literally got a Fives tattoo because of that one arc with Fives, dude. Wow. And you have something when she hadn't seen any of the Star Wars movies, she hadn't seen anything besides the Clone Wars, and now she watches everything. She's got a Fives tattoo just from a 3-episode, 20-minute episode arc. That blows my mind. So I think it could be done. I know it's not as easy as how we're making it out to be, and all that, but I think it's possible.
They're definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, they're sitting on a gold mine, because there's something about being back. I mean, as a kid at the time, walking in Walmart as the prequels were coming out, on the store shelves, you had those snap lightsabers, and my parents would be like, "Okay, you did good in class, whatever. You can choose one figure," and there's like
one.
What? Oh my gosh! And Max,
See-
you were saying something like you bartered with them, like,
Oh.
okay, this equals out to that price. So maybe
Yeah,
I
I'm
can
like,
get-
my parents
The
were like, "Oh, you can
inventory
get
is
one
approved.
toy," and I was like, "Oh, well, what if I got? I hear you, but what if I got 2 toys that were equal to the price of one, dude?" I was the negotiator. Yeah, that was me, man.
It slaps. Plain just simply slaps. Think of Lego Star Wars too. They're still doing Lego Star Wars stuff. They just released like a UCS Venator or something like that.
Look at
Oh,
that.
thing is
And,
Look at that. You don't see that anymore. There's
Oh,
none
yeah.
of
when
this.
Clone Wars, dude, when Clone Wars
Like-
kicked, they just got like skyrocketed with a bunch of sets.
I remember that.
Like,
Like
come
this,
on, like,
or
how
like
cool is
the
that?
clones on the boxes or the Rex on the box. Like,
Yeah.
good
That's
I-
my favorite box art. of
I
the
ate it
show.
up. Darth Vader with the flames, man, with the
Mm.
Mustafar lava. Come on,
all
bro.
the action figures.
Oh, sorry, you guys are getting me. You guys are getting me in my feels, man. I'm starting to get. But
Took
let's.
the nostalgia.
I do. I do want to. We haven't talked. I mean, we've loosely talked about it through our this whole shindig. But let's talk a little bit about the Siege of Mandalore, because I feel like that was also a major. Like, I don't know about you guys. I was not I was like, oh, cool, we're getting Clone Wars. Like, that's probably what we'll get.
Yeah.
No
And
one
they
was-
gave us like were any of you expecting Siege of Mandalore?
Nah.
I feel like that.
I
came
wasn't
out
expecting
last year.
Clone Wars to begin with.
Yeah, I mean that was yeah.
Shock. Yeah,
Like,
it was a
Dude,
surprise to be sure, but a welcome one.
her, and we get to see the Mandalorians too,
Oh,
man.
Oh
Just,
yeah.
Oh,
like her
The
taking
fact
them out.
that
Dude,
they
she's
even
doing spinning.
acknowledge Mandalorians in
and
live action.
332nd in live action too.
Yeah,
There
I
you
don't have
go.
any of the 332nd.
Fun fact,
unfortunately.
actually, all of the clones are CG in this, in the entire sequence. All of them are CG.
That makes sense.
Never broke my immersion.
That makes
No,
sense.
I noticed it because it's the Book
Like-
of Boba version, which doesn't have the detailed belt. but-
Yes,
The
Love it.
Mandalorians, man.
They
like
they definitely painted some though, because I follow a lot of the artists that painted them, and they said that they did do some practical 332nd. Not, I don't know if they replaced them or used them all, but they definitely were made.
All right. Well, at least all of the ones you see on screen are CG. But yeah, I'm sure they made like reference models and stuff.
I will
There's
say,
also like a mix between like the Mandalorian, like the first like close-up shot where you see him from the front is like CG, and then I think the one that dies is like practical. That one is CG.
this is CG.
Yeah,
Really?
Really?
yeah.
The way that he
Trust me,
kind
like,
of like stands up is kind of unnatural.
Yeah.
You can kind
Like
you can
trust
see
me,
it
when
a
you
little
see it
bit.
in motion, yeah.
Yeah. But then when he falls, he definitely like does this like twist that looks very real.
Yeah, like when he dies, it's definitely like an actual suit.
yeah.
That's why I think there's like some like
Dude, it looks so
combination.
good.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Dude,
man.
I kind of missed the opportunity. Not gonna. I mean, it makes sense because like why she's like literally just like this is right after she hops down and the explosion happens. So, like Gar Saxon wouldn't be right here, but like even if we got like a little bit like him in the background fighting or something like that, I think that would have been pretty sick. Like little bit more Clone Wars nod and stuff like that. And dude, oh man, this is I love seeing this. And then we get let's see. Live action Rex,
Yes!
baby.
So good.
Don't look at this or this, but live action Rex. Let's go.
Oh my
man.
god, I did not notice that.
Like this, dude. I mean, honestly, yeah, the elbows
Crazy.
and like you can kind of like I didn't notice the biceps. Really, you can see it on the promotional stuff. But like the
Yeah.
elbows are really what stuck out to me the most. And I don't. Maybe there was like more of a like. It doesn't really make sense because it seems like he'd be able to bend his elbow just as well, but maybe he couldn't bend it or like I don't know why they would turn them sideways. To me, that
The
doesn't.
elbow pieces themselves are actually like even disregarding the position, they're the wrong elbows, or at least not the Revenge of the Sith ones. They're like new, like elbows. Yeah, I know. Usually, most people don't care, but from like a costuming and accuracy department standpoint, Rex was kind of a yikes. But I mean, in the moment, I mean, I didn't care either. So I mean, it did the job, and I mean, Tamora Morrison voicing Rex in the clones,
So good.
obviously is a win.
Yeah.
So
Oh, dude.
And he's got like some people were complaining too about his like pouch up here.
Oh,
Like
dude,
the
the memes for that
MP
was great. Strike has been
MP40.
posting so many.
The
It's
MP40 pouches.
crazy.
And then was it J-Guy Hunter? He actually posted, hey, a lot of people are complaining about this, but check this out. And he posted a picture from like the OT when the Sand Troopers had that exact same like big
Positioning.
MP40 pouch on their shoulder.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
man, it looks so good. Look at his helmet.
I know.
Uh,
Here,
Look at
I
it!
got the
I know.
better.
See, the
So
problem is
good.
any normal person would be like,
Got the welds
oh,
in
this looks great, and my brain is like that upper line should be black and not blue. I hate it. You know,
the blessings and curses of analyzing armor for too long.
Right.
But yeah, dude, this is good. We'll go back to Sean here saying that. Yeah, I think really, honestly, if I'm being real, like I said, like this isn't like sequel hate or anything like that, but like sequels are what killed the toy sales, and you can Google like the Hasbro people talking about it and stuff like that. Like they couldn't offload enough of the sequel trilogy toys to make, and that's why everything's on, and COVID too. There's a lot of factors, but the sequel,
Yeah, that was a big thing.
not being
I mean, the sequel stuff didn't sell before COVID. I mean,
yeah.
that
as
wasn't
much
really-
as much
but
as
that's why
I-
we don't have the toy section that we do today, like we
as,
did.
Yeah.
in
as
the
much
past.
as I love Andy Serkis's performance of whatever he does, he's the mocap guy, right? Ain't nobody buying a wrinkly scrotum ass Snoke toy. No one doing it. Ain't
JT
nobody
dropping.
buying that.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. He had some drip with the gold lace, bro. He had a little bit of drip. Don't give him a little bit of credit. He didn't
You know what that
do
is?
anything.
But Max,
That's
do
baby
you
powder.
but do you want to just be laying in bed and then like you just having to look over like your counter and you just see Snoke just
Yeah,
Oh,
fair point. Hey, I'm trying to give a little something to the sequel toys, man. Little bit of something, but yeah, man, just this whole thing, and then him coming and being like, "Oh, I don't remember this battle."
Oh,
you know,
yes.
and
yes.
he's kind of looking around, and it's just it's crazy that he didn't get to witness her like essentially like full potential Ahsoka. Like she's like he even mentions it. He's like I've taught you everything. He's like, you're everything I am, and more. And then we get dude. I would have never in a million years. I felt
Sith eyes.
like we were getting. I said it in my video. I used that Hulk gif, the Hulk Buster punching Hulk like a million times in the face. I literally, this episode felt like that. Like it was like you get Clone Wars. Oh, you get Phase 1 live action. You get Ahsoka live action, young Ahsoka. You get Rex Phase 1, Phase 2. You get Anakin Clone Wars. You like Siege of Mandalore. Like Phase 2 Rex, Phase 1 Rex. Like I felt like I just kept getting punched in the face. And then we get Dark Side Anakin, which obviously you guys can tell by my outfit. I'm building Anakin, and I wanted to do a Dark Side version of him. So this was, seeing this on the big screen was a dream come true. I know
Max,
we've talked about it.
Play the clip. You gotta play it.
Oh, I didn't play it. Oh man, I got distracted.
You gotta, yeah. It's tough.
But here, if anybody's confused, this is what JT's talking about. Getting the red lightsaber and live action. Finally, there was a deleted scene, and if I can freaking find it, I got so many files. There's a deleted scene in Revenge of the Sith, the video game, where it was an alternate ending where Anakin actually wins the high ground, stabs Obi-Wan, and gets a red lightsaber.
Yep.
No, the galaxy belongs to me.
Well, isn't it from the Revenge of the Sith game?
Yeah. From the Revenge of the Sith game, yeah. And he freaking this is like the coolest thing. This is an extra cut scene that you get.
This was in the era of peak Star Wars gaming.
Oh, such an nobody's played this game, dude, and it is so underrated. Like they had a Mortal Kombat fight, it was chef's kiss. But yeah, we get, which I was always confused on why they brought the 212 troopers instead of like the Coruscant guard, but that's just a little side.
It wouldn't save them. It wouldn't save them.
Probably just reused assets from the Obi-Wan level on Utapau.
Yeah, true. But I'm like, that's literally just a texture change. So like, that's easy peasy. Like, I don't know, it's a little tiny gripe, but still epic. And also, like, is that
saber
his?
Is the Tusken Slayer. It's not Vader's actual saber.
Boom.
But I'm saying, is that his Attack of the Clones saber?
Yeah, the Tusken Slayer. Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy, dude.
Now
I
Palpatine
just
player. Wrinkle Slayer.
Wrinkle Slayer. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Oh man, just that. If you guys haven't, definitely like. I know it's harder to get copies of Revenge of the Sith, and for some reason it's not on Steam. It's a tragedy. Go watch those cinematics because they're so
And-
great.
And that clip right there is the reason that shot of Anakin coming out of the fog and flashing into Vader with the red lightsaber. You lack conviction. You know, that's why that's my favorite clip, because of this alternate ending. Because it's
Heck
the
yeah.
first time you see that pre-suit the Vader with a red saber.
So
Just brings it back.
I wanted to get your guys' opinions on this because I've heard a lot of people say that Ahsoka got Sith eyes in this. I thought it was
I think
always-
it's reflection.
yeah, I think it's the
definitely think it's
reflection, but I think it's
100%.
supposed to be symbolic.
Yeah,
that she has the
I got a
potential
whole
to be
thing of
Sith.
this.
Yeah.
Charlie,
I-
kick it, man.
Well, open
Yeah.
the bag, Charlie. Give it to
I
us.
mean, it's look, the whole thing about Star Wars of right and wrong. Sam Witwer beautifully put, "Don't be a dick," but is just go look it up. Is not the other thing, but not what he's talking about. But no, this little test right here from him going light side, Anakin, Vader, to pushing and everything like that. It's also a teaching thing. Is pushing to a point and everything to see what they'll do, and this final little test and everything like that arcs all the way back to Luke in Return of the Jedi, where does the whole thing to Vader, looks ways done. Oh, whoa, oh God, no, and just drops it. You failed, Your Highness. It's a small little thing that if some alternate reality that she did do this test, she would completely fail to be like a version of the Matrix. But it's just like a symbol. It's like, hey, be careful, Snips. But she quickly recognized it's something that she could have done, because even in Mortis, she became like a dark side for a second thanks to the sun. But just
Oh yeah,
little things like this, it's nice to see when characters prevail over stuff like this.
bro. It
That-
literally stabbed me in the heart when she threw the saber away, just like Luke does when he looks at his hand in Return of the Jedi. I'm like,
Yeah,
bro, like how are they like? It's literally like poetry. I know we say that all the time, joking, but
Like
like
poetry.
literally it
I'm-
rhymes, dude.
I'm gonna make
movie.
I'm gonna make a sequels reference right now, but
That-
what if in that alternate reality, when Ahsoka's there and she's in the face of adversary, but she gave in to her dark side desires? What if when she sliced through Anakin right up close to him like that, it like did that Luke astral projection that it did with like Kylo Ren, and then Anakin just looks at her and she's like, and that's why you will always fail. And then she just drowns. She just straight up dies.
That would be
Yeah.
trippy.
I think partially
Final test.
also what this also like symbolizes, like her beating Anakin, but then choosing to spare him,
oh,
is I think choosing to not kill the part inside her, which is Anakin, which like
Yeah.
there is like, as he said himself earlier, like she is going to be everything that he has been. Like his legacy lives on in her. So by accepting that this part is just simply part of her, that is her, I think that is also like what this is trying to show, that she chose to not kill off Anakin's part that is in her, but to embrace the good side of that.
Well, if she kills Anakin, she kills her legacy. And if she has no legacy, what's the point of her living? So that really comes testament to her will of not drowning in this dream.
and good luck
sequence.
swimming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't swim. Poor Kino.
And this was
Oh,
I thought
made
this
it.
was a very one way out. I can't swim, bro. You're like 50 years old and you can't swim. Come on.
Oh, someone's got to make an edit of that. Jason telling
Oh
Hera,
my
"Mom,
God.
if you listen, you can hear it." And it's just like them shouting one way out. And
But I thought this was super cool. I really like it. I think Strike said it in the watch party that it kind of
Yep.
reminded us of Pirates of the Caribbean when they're like, going from the spirit realm to the, back to the Caribbean. And I don't know. I just, this whole, like, this is such a spiritual journey for her. And, it's almost a religious type of almost like baptism experience. And then we get her as Ahsoka the White. And
Oh.
man, I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit. We'll talk about some of the
No,
other
no,
stuff
no,
that
you're
happened,
fine.
but dude, this outfit is so freaking cool, man. I need Black Series to make an Ahsoka. I know they're going to, but I need Clone Wars Anakin, phase 1 and 2 Rex. I know we have a whole bunch of them. I need more. I need Dark Side Anakin, like Black Series. You gotta make them. I'll order them online. I don't care. I gotta have them. But
Give them to me.
But man, I was wondering if we were gonna see this, because we see this at the end of Clone Wars, or at the end of Rebels, where she comes back as, coining the Ahsoka the White, as kind of how Gandalf comes back from fighting the Balrog and all that. And dude, it looks so clean. Like I don't know. I have another shot of it. Like it's with her like it's not exactly like it is in Rebels, but it's cool that we get to see the underneath too, because she just has the cloak like this in Rebels. But man,
100%. It's
It
great.
makes her Leku look so much cooler, because like the only parts orange you see are her hands and her face.
Mm.
Yeah.
Didn't she also like have like a new like headpiece now?
Yeah,
she does.
Yeah.
Which bagpacking off of that, so weird to see her without a headpiece.
Yes, dude.
I was like, I get why you wear them all the time. I'd wear them too. That's all.
I think Avela said
that
it
transition was that's a hard one.
I think Avela said it in quiet when we were on the watch party, and she was like, "Oh, it just looks naked." I'm like, yeah.
We're seeing something we're not supposed to see.
It was off when I was looking at it.
But yeah, I'm trying to see if she I don't know if she has. It's blocked in that one.
Yeah.
You can kind of see. I'm trying to see. I don't think I have. Oh, here at this one. So you can see it in this one. She has this headpiece, and then she
the
gets
Rebels like head thingy, yeah.
And then she gets the new one. Let's see where she gets the new one, which arguably I think looks cooler. It has like a little. It's hard to see, but she has like a little medallion.
Yeah.
Goes a bit more back to like what she had in Siege of Mandalore, like sort of the metalish look to it. Yeah, it looks badass.
Yeah, very much so.
Awesome.
Very much so. Siege of Mandalore for sure. And then it was kind of cool because we didn't know. I know we talked about it earlier on, but she definitely has. I think JT called it. She has psychometry, but she actually has it.
Yeah.
Like she can see the events play, because like
she got a power boost, man. She leveled up after Anakin gave her stuff.
I can't remember if we've seen it in Kenobi or not, but I think this is the first live action Force Echo psychometry, like Quinlan Voss, Cal Kestis level of just like sensing the entire area through the Force to know what happened, and then coming down to the physical object and putting the pieces together.
because
Yeah,
I think she do it at the beginning of the season. She does it like, but
she tries. Yeah, she tries to do it, but with the fight between Sabine and Shin, like she hears sort of like loose echoes of noises. Which, I mean, to be fair, that's something like, for instance, like all Jedi can do to an extent. I mean, it's one of those things where like every Jedi can do sort of everything a little bit, and then usually everyone has their own like more prominent skill. Like, for instance, Cal Kestis also being more gifted in that department. So
before it was just Quinlan. Like
Quinlan
he was
Voss,
the only one in Star Wars that was able to do it.
Man.
And I mean, there are also like varying degrees, because like Quinlan, for instance, in Clone Wars could literally then visually sort of see how the scenes played out.
He was there.
With Cal, I guess it's sort of similar with those shadow figures. But I think Ahsoka's pretty much maybe like just one level underneath what Cal can do in that department. But I mean, Ahsoka's also very good in other departments, so I guess that makes sense.
Well, the other department being.
Oh no!
Now Max.
We will never know the other department.
Hang on.
Oh no, we lost.
I got it.
Are you back?
I got it.
Okay.
Ah,
To us.
are we good?
Hang on.
We good?
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
One snap is
We're
on.
here.
Snap the universe.
Disney,
I
like,
have no idea what
nope.
my computer just like.
Skynet
it
was just like,
nah.
nope.
Not today.
I think what happened is my computer freaked out because I had so many images opened because I wasn't deleting them after I viewed them. So it's just like,
100,000
it's like, what the?
already, with another million well on the way.
But we're back. But this is the going back to what we were talking about the psychometry. But she also in Tales of the Jedi has beast taming. And we get to see a little bit of that in her with the Purgles and
damn space.
How do you guys feel about them riding inside of the mouth? I feel like we all kind of felt like this is how it was going to go. As she was going to kind of, if she was going to get there, either Anakin was going to like teleport her there somehow through a portal, or she was going to get there through the
Listen,
whales.
I said it during the watch party. Just remember, P. Sherman 42 Albee Sydney.
No problem whatsoever with it. Whenever it happened, it was amazing. At first, I had my classical thing because I'd never expected. I'm like, goddamn space whales, like a fusion of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood thing. But beside the point, I enjoyed it as well because you get to see like her power boost and stuff like that. You're like, wait, what? But it makes sense.
Yeah, I love the blue glow, like how they're seeing it through the mouth.
I thought it was so goofy. Even in Rebels, I'm like, really, whales? And then we do this like landscape shot or whatever when they're like driving close to one in Ahsoka, like one of the episodes.
Mhm.
And then now I'm starting to like grow on it. I'm like, okay, this is kind of like majestic and awesome. And they did some sort of like Godzilla like charge up with the blue, like Brad saying, and it just into space.
Yeah, I love how Hera's behind her, giving her the heads up. You're like, hey, looks like they're about to, they're about to go.
Oh, that commander was crapping herself.
Yeah.
She was just like,
man. Oh yeah, she's like, you better get out of the way. She's like, brings the shit down
Like,
below.
she was like evasive maneuvers, and like then like 5 minutes later, like the whales basically almost crashing. I'm like,
I know.
well, what the fuck were evasive maneuvers?
You ain't evading that.
Man.
You see the pilot coming back from the bathroom. Hey, what just happened?
What was that?
Why are whales outside?
honestly, I thought about this. I was like, oh yeah, you're going on the adventure now too. You don't have a choice. Just the whales just grabbing the ships and taking
what?
them.
Pilot probably like Larry, who was like restationed after the Empire. They're like, what?
Matt Radar, the technician's like, what? I just got reassigned. No.
Yeah.
And Hu Yang's not even questioning it. She's like, okay, we're going on a whale. Alrighty.
I don't know. Whenever she said she didn't know where they were gonna go, like she could. He's like, huh? He just like turned real quick, like, what?
He's been through a lot.
I will say
Poor guy.
it is cool that we get this new, because a lot of people, I saw a lot of gripes about people being like, oh, well, this like isn't the Ahsoka we know.
I
Like,
already know where this is going.
she's sad, she's grumpy, she's crossing her arms all the time. She's like, this isn't the Ahsoka. And now, she's
there's an idea.
yeah. And then she like, it's character development, right? It's like poetry, it rhymes. And dude, it's so cool to see her kind of get her like fighting spirit back. Like, I'm so excited. That last little bit showing her smiling and happy and her new outfit, like, it made me genuinely excited for what's to come. Like, and I think that's the whole emphasis on what it has is just like, he's like, well, how do you know it's going to take us to where it's supposed to go? Like, how do you know it's going to take us to Ezra? She goes, I don't. She's like, it's better than going nowhere. And I was like, dude, that is a freaking line right there, dude.
The similarities there with Anakin, like that is totally like the Anakin, just like we'll wing it mindset.
And coming to terms with that too, like accepting that and be like, oh, yeah, that is what I can do. That is an option, and it's just like Gandalf. Think of the first movie when Pippin throws the book or something down the well. He's like,
breakfast.
You fool, took you doomed us all. And all of a sudden he comes back and then he's like, I am the Lightbringer. I am happy. I am chill. It's just like that. And so this is going into what I was gonna mention. So they're gray Jedi. That's fan fiction.
Right.
There are Sith. There are Jedi. There are fallen Jedi, and then there are light-sided Force users that follow a brighter path. I think this whole coming to terms with Anakin and accepting the past, not holding on to jealousy and all that, have put her back on the Jedi path. Because even when she was fighting Vader, sliced his mask up, she's like, I'm no Jedi. She's lost at that point. It's not to be taken at face value like she's not a Jedi. She's clearly the light fighting the dark in that moment, right? But I think this is definitely the coming to terms. Quite literally, look at her outfit; it's white, and now her whole demeanor has changed, and she's ready for adventure. It's very poetic.
Yeah. Well, I think she's much like, I think that's they're playing with like the master and apprentice vibes, and you get Balin who, I can't remember what context he said this in. I think it was Morgan Ailsbeth was like, have faith. And he's like, faith? I lost that a long time ago.
Yes.
You know,
And the
I
Force-
think Ahsoka definitely has that too.
The
For
Force
sure.
always balances itself out, and because she was lost for so long, she was kind of putting that ultimatum in the dream sequence: live or die. The wills of the Force will choose your path. You are going to give into your dark desires, or you're going to give into the light. There is no in between. You will. This is your decision on your path, and she chose light. So
It's so good, man. I just realized we lost Nick. When did we lose Nick?
A while back.
Private
He
chat.
ran out.
I've been bouncing all around
No.
trying to remember everything.
A
Nick's
while.
later going to be like, now you notice?
Yeah.
I don't know if he said.
Nick's
he's
in a
in
dream
a
sequence. He's in a
fighting
dream
match.
sequence right now.
Yeah,
Max,
he's
why are you
right.
not-
I pulled him
Don't
into a
pull
dream
him out
sequence.
yet.
Oh,
Don't pull
man.
him out yet.
I was, you know, I'm trying to queue up all the questions and move on to the next thing, and I'm like in the back of the head, I'm like, it seems like there's less people. I don't know, I don't know, but it seems like there's less people. But yeah, guys, I mean, I think that's all that I had. This is probably one of the longest like round tables that we've done. We're almost hitting 2 hours now. So yeah, I mean, I knew this one was going to be a long one. There's so much, and there's so much we could still talk about. And it's just,
Man, I can talk about the Clone Wars for years.
I know,
really want
right?
to make it a long thing.
I'm truly, it's great because I generally don't know what's going to happen next episode. Like anything could happen, you know. I mean, obviously they're going to be on the path and go in to find Ezra and Thrawn, but like, who knows what we're going to get? And it's just, I said this after the episode. I said this basically. I blasted it everywhere. It's such a good time to be a Star Wars fan. This is the times where I really like the Star Wars community. Definitely has its ups and downs, and to see everybody kind of coming together and theorizing what's happening and talking about their childhood and being so excited or being sad, or you know, it's just, man, it's just a good time to be a Star Wars fan. And the Stanleys, yeah, I know, no Nick Easter eggs this time around, unfortunately.
There's one for you. Leia, shout out.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
we didn't even talk
yes.
about Leia. That was a
Senator.
good one.
Yeah.
Senator Organa.
Do you guys think we'll get that? You know, we've seen Mon Mothma. Do you
No,
think
I
we'll
don't.
get
I don't
maybe
think
in
so.
like a holograph projector or some kind of like they get into Ezra? Something
Could be
like
just
that.
it. Could be
Maybe.
just an
I think a
Yeah.
hologram would be pushing it.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna see her like in person.
I will
We've
say
been we've been kind of sprinkling Easter eggs throughout this entire thing, like red saber,
Yeah.
pre-suit Vader.
Yeah,
Anakin.
true.
Yeah.
I need
will
to
say
have
the
one
first-
all of us.
the
ahead.
the opening shot of this, like where you know it starts off with the ocean crashing into the face of the cliff, and then you have the full size ghost, and then the X-wings
Oh,
buzzing over them.
yeah.
Dude, that was, I mean, yeah, this whole episode, man, it rounded out a lot.
That would be kind of cool to see. I do like some of the
that would be
politics.
cool.
You know, to see her
Ooh.
come out of one of the little pot. Honestly, I want to see what the new. I want to see if it looks like the Republic. You know, the council, or what's it called, the Senate floor. Seeing those again and working, and I always like seeing the Senate. I don't the politics. I take it or leave it. Like sometimes it's cool, sometimes it's not so much. But the Senate itself and the moving platforms and stuff like, man,
Yeah,
I'd like to see that with, especially too. We'd see Mon Mothma in the middle where because she's Chancellor now.
yeah.
So that
Yeah.
would
we
be
know
kind of sick.
It was
Yeah,
remodeled not many years before this, so you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
weird to think. I mean, it's not even possible that Sith Lord could be the Chancellor of the leader thing. That's just crazy talk. I
No.
know, but, you know.
He's a
I don't
good guy.
know. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good guy, Papa Palps.
yeah, Papa Pat, Uncle Sheev.
But thank you guys for watching
Oh.
and tuning in. And go ahead, Charlie.
really fast. It's a little thing. It's almost like poetry or rhymes. But no, something about this. I was rewatching this for like another time, and it dawned on me. And again, I don't know if Dave Filoni's thing or just something. Everybody sees your artist. Everybody sees art in a different way, and I've looked at a few tributes that have done specifically to this episode, from episode 1 all the way to 6, Clone Wars, and everything about Anakin and Ahsoka's relationship, and how I'm like, wow. And even though it was her choice and it was her test, but a small part of me loves to believe that, wow, after all these years, go back to after Anakin lost his mother, before it became a selfish desire, and when it came into that, before it came into that, after all these years, he actually prevented death.
Mhm.
But it was to his student little sister.
Mm.
So I love little things like that because I don't know, just that little thing of just like, even after all that time, he was like, nah, no, nope, I'm going down there for a minute. And, does that, live or die? There may be hope for you yet.
Dude,
Not to
that
mention-
line got me so
even
much.
after all these years,
Oof.
he saved his son and he saved his apprentice. But it was their choices, but regardless.
The
But
final lesson.
oh,
Yeah.
The final lesson.
anyways, that was it for me. Good job.
Oh, you're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
Good job.
Well, thank you guys for watching and hanging out with us. We had actually a crazy amount. We had I think 7 or 8 people in here watching at once, and usually it's like around 4 or 5. But thank you guys for watching. We do these every Saturday at 7. We try to hit 7 p.m. Sometimes it's 7:05, sometimes
Close-ish.
we're around the ballpark of that because we like to nerd out and talk beforehand. But thank you guys for watching. Definitely go check out everybody's socials. I have all those linked down below, all their Instagram, TikToks, YouTubes. They all make awesome Star Wars content, and they all have epic stuff to give. So definitely go give them a follow. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and may the Force be with you. See you guys next week.
Take it easy.